and start my timer. Okay, so that looks correct, but let's look at this formula a little bit more here and see if there's anything else. I'm not quite finished here, right? I got this highlighted orange chunk that needs my attention, and I just created these variables, local tile x, local tile y. Or should this be like screen tile x and screen tile y? Because it's, right, because this is not the local tile, because it's, this tile value doesn't, so LTX and LTY, it doesn't start at 0, 0 all the time, right? Because if the source viewport has been moved, then the first value of this could be like 5 and 5, right? So the L for local might be kind of confusing, because it's more like screen local, as would it be? It would be. So it's like it's like screen local. So we could go, or we could say like this. We could say VP. Actually, no, that's VP0. And then it's and then is it really a local tile? It's more like it's not really. It's more like VP0 source tile X and source tile Y is really what it's more like. I'm just gonna make a note that in my shortcuts that LTX and LTY, I want them to, I don't want to use those variables because they're too ambiguous, and I want VP0 STX or VP0 STY. And what I'm saying with those variables, right, is that this variable pertains to the destination viewport, so destination being the on-screen viewport, which is viewport 0, and it is the source tile value, x-coordinate, source tile, so it's not really the tile value, it's the source tile coordinate y, source tile coordinate x, as it is positioned on the destination viewport. So I think that's a decent name. And then we know that from earlier that we were misusing LDX and LDY here, right? Because, so let's see, get the local pixel coordinate value from within the current tile in focus. So this thing right here, these are the current tile in focus. So we could write current tile, in all capitals, tile in focus equals, and then VP0 STX, comma, VP0 STY, like that. And then what we could do is take this all capital phrase here, and where do we write the current tile in focus? We wrote it right here. So that way when we double click this comment, we can see current tile in focus. What's that? Oh, this other thing lit up, right? And then we can also, you know, in commas, we can say that it's VP0 STX and VP0 STY, just to let you know what the current tile in focus stands for. Okay, so now that we have the current tile in focus, we know that when we're trying to get the local coordinates, we need to like truncate some values. And it looks like well, actually LDX and LDY might be used correctly here. Yeah, LDX and LDY are being correctly used here. It's this TX and TY that are not correct, because this was the current tile in focus, and we want to multiply it by how big a tile appears on the destination viewport to get kind of like how many pixels are used up on the X and Y, and then by taking this value and subtracting this value, we kind of get the remainder, right? So we're getting So TINCO X and TINCO Y is basically the remainder of this calculation here, right? So, right, because we're flooring this, well, so this is the flooring calculation, and the remainder, whatever is left over from this calculation, is what these variables are, right? If that makes sense, right? Okay, so let's do that. So let's take these values and let's paste them into there. And now this is getting even worse because we're kind of leaking over the edge here and here. But we can work on fixing that after we get the code correct, right? Correct code is more important than nice looking code, even though I really do like my code to look nice. We need to prioritize, and right now we need to just prioritize getting this working. And once we have it working, then we can clean this up a little bit. Okay, so I think we're ready here. We got some error checks, some sanity checks. So let's give this a run and hope it actually works, because this is taking far too long. But the thing is once you've written it once, then you have it. It's good. It's good to go. And if you're gonna like rewrite this code in a different language, you know, literally transcribe it, right? Like I would do if I was to rewrite this in C. What I would do is I would literally cut and paste all the code, and then just manually transcribe it, because we painstakingly made sure that all the math was correct. And I might actually move this logic into an OpenGL shader later. And that's why kind of the math is doing this iterating over the entire viewport like this, because the dx and dy here are eventually, if I bring this over to OpenGL, this will be like the GL frag chord x and the GL frag chord y. Okay, anyways, let's take a look. Let's try to run it. I'm scared. Like, I don't want it to be broken anymore. I just want this to be over. But let's just refresh and see what happens. Yeah, so the refreshing, and we have some problems, it looks like. So let's see what we screwed up now. Console. Uncaught exception. So if something's out of bounds, let's put a breakpoint right there and see what's out of bounds, and try to figure out, well, why is it out of bounds? So we're still getting this huge negative value, and we're still getting this fractional value for the width and height, and it's like, what the hell is that about? Because we definitely shouldn't have that. So we might want to look at, you know, TP. So this value is used in other places. Oh, it's used like all over the place. So this fractional value, oh wait, you can't see that, sorry. Here's where the error is being thrown, and I can see that, can I zoom in? I can't really zoom in, but this, the width and height of a tile as seen in the destination viewport is a fractional value. And that shouldn't be right, because I'm zooming in by powers of 2, and my data set is a power of, oh wait, but my viewport is what, like 640 by 640, which isn't a power of 2, which could explain this fractional amount here we got, which would mean that this would be kind of okay. Well, how off are we? Whoa, we're way off. This is what are these doing being negative? Okay, so let's go just look at TP0 width and see if there's anything we can find that is completely just off base. Okay, so it's up here, 577. Hold on, let me go back down. Okay, TP0. I'm gonna go back to my source code really quick, just because I'm a little bit faster looking through the source code than I am in the debugger. So we noticed that these values here were kind of off base. So I'm just going to highlight both of those and kind of scroll up and kind of see where that's declared. Size of tile measured in pixels. So if we're zoomed in a lot, I believe we were zoomed in enough so that there were 2 tiles on the X, 2 tiles on the Y, right? When we initially start the program, it's a 2x2 tiles are showing up on screen. And if the viewport width was like 640, well, if the viewport was 640, we would have a lot more. Okay, so something's wrong here. Well, obviously. So VP0 width. So let's go back into the debugger. We're gonna scroll up, and we're gonna until we find the size of tile comment. Okay, size of tile. Okay, so the width and the height of. So what the hell? So 577 just seems wrong to me. So we're gonna. So where is so? So I'm not gonna worry about these values because now I think that 128. That actually might be correct. 512. If we were looking at the entire map, it would be 512. Oh, well, okay, so VP0. Okay. Okay, I can see that. Yeah. So we had a viewport, I believe it was like 640 by 640, and then we inset it by 32 pixels on each side, I remember. And that's what that 32 is there. So 577. So if we have 640 and we subtract 32 twice, what do we get? 640 minus 32 minus 32, which would be 64. Do we get like 577? Okay, we get 576. That's one off, but if we have a viewport that goes from 0 to 0, there would be at least 1 pixel wide. So we're off by 1. There should be a +1 in that calculation, 577. So the width and height of a single tile, that looks correct to me. It's the width and the height is fine. That calculation is good. But obviously we're still wrong somewhere. Tile internal coordinate. So what should it be if so if it's only 4 LDX, okay, hold on. Oh, you know what? This isn't a minus. This shouldn't be a minus. This should be a plus. So if we've well, no, hold on. Okay, why is any of this important? Get local tile coordinate value from within. So I think what I'm kind of doing here is, I think I just turned... I think the calculation here might actually be a global... fuck. How much time do I have? 4 minutes? So let me look. LDY. It's the viewport on screen local coordinate. And this is like excess. But this is local, so this is always starting at this needs to... Oh, you know what? LDX, since this is a local coordinate, wouldn't that just mean that it needs to modulate between the width and not be whatever the hell this is? Or there might be two ways to solve it, but why... Right, where it is over the source data doesn't really change what the local value should be. Source tile X. Actually, this should probably be tile X, right? Because the tile X that you're currently on... Okay, so I have two hunches here, now that I'm looking at this. So where's my out of bounds that I'm throwing here? So over here, let's clear up this. So this, incorrect, but what I think we need is we need something like, I think there's two ways to solve this, first of all. So I think one of the ways we can solve, one of the ways we could solve this, I believe, is that this should be like a tx, and the ty, or, hold on. The current tile value. Okay, this is the, what is this tx? This is the source x, source y. Yeah, source x, source y. So this is like if that has been moved. But we don't really need the source. We need something on the destination. So LDX. No, I think that kind of makes sense. The current tile... Yeah, but the tile X, is this... No, because that could be... That's the tile in X and tile Y on the source. We're not using it anywhere. Okay, so now that wouldn't be correct. So maybe there's only one way to solve this. It would be LDX. Because we could just do LDX and then modulate it by the size of a tile, right? Let me reset my timer here.